Hi, welcome back to the Political Beat here at ellapress.com. I'm Pat, this is Chip. We cover City Hall here in London, Ontario, but Chip, I just watched Toronto Mayor Rob Ford's latest live unscripted scrum where the graphic language he used, I'm actually grossed out by it, and I'm honestly speechless, and I'm asking myself, where is this thing going to go next? I can't believe it. Like, I literally watched it 2 minutes ago. I cannot believe what I saw. If you haven't seen it, please look it up. It's him responding to all these allegations about sexually charged comments he's made to staffers, and he somehow, his excuses are more offensive than the actual alleged comments. Where is this thing going?
I honestly don't know. It's
going
day by day.
It's going to the Daily Show tonight for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of amazed by it, and the Ford thing really is a bit of deja vu for me. And I know that maybe some people would disagree with this, but I can't help but think I just see it repeated. Exactly a year ago, here we were in London, dealing with many of the same issues that Toronto's dealing with. Should Mayor Rob Ford be allowed to put down the wreath at the Remembrance Day ceremony? Exactly the same issue was going on a year ago when thanks to, after your stories, the police were investigating Joe Fontana. Exact same issue.
Votes on council.
Council voting to get rid of him. We had that exact same thing happen, and of course, he didn't.
Because of the Fontana 8.
Yeah, he was voted out. But even if he had been, even if they had said, Joe, you got to go, he doesn't have to leave under the Municipal Act. And Toronto reporters are now sort of agog at what we were agog about a year ago, of course, which is that there's virtually no mechanism in the Municipal Act to force a mayor or any municipal politician to leave office.
And say what you want. As bad as things are for Mayor Ford, there's still, as of right now, who knows what's going to happen, there are still no criminal charges.
Right.
And a year ago, our mayor had criminal charges. So
almost exactly a year ago. Yep. That's right. So you ask yourself who's in a tougher spot, but that is such an interesting thing. And to me, I wonder if this is a big enough issue that it'll actually get the attention of the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing or whatever it is at Queen's Park to say, maybe we should have something in here that's not so, the legislation is so naive. It assumes any municipal politician who should resign or step aside would resign, which is absolutely not the case.
Not anymore. Used to be, not anymore. Although we have seen some mayors in Quebec, out west as well, that have stepped down amidst a scandal, a lot less serious scandal than Mayor Ford or our mayor are involved in, and they've actually done what they think is the right thing and have stepped aside.
Yeah, I'm not comparing Mayor Ford to Mayor Fontana. The two situations are completely different. It's just the fallout is so similar, right? And I see, Toronto's top bureaucrat at City Hall in Toronto saying City Hall's running just fine, and I remember the top bureaucrat in London saying the same thing last year because the city is running fine. This is a political mess. It's not a bureaucratic mess, right? So the city's still operating. Anyway.
And the interesting thing is that if someone were charged that happened to be a mayor with a criminal offense, if they are convicted and sentenced to a jail term, would they be required to step down?
That's correct. Only if they're actually jailed. So even a conviction, if you what could you get?
You could get
probation,
a suspended sentence. You could get a sentence to serve at home.
Yeah.
You could get a conditional sentence, that sort of thing. As long as you are not incarcerated and unable to fulfill your duties and are no longer technically a voter, which is one of the requirements of being a mayor. As long as that doesn't happen, you can carry on.
And you can run for re-election. That brings me to, I think it's next week, our Mayor Fontana is back in court. Give the viewers an update of where we are in terms of the criminal proceedings and what's happening next week.
Well, we had a two-day preliminary hearing a couple of weeks ago. Evidence was brought, and it's basically to see if there's enough evidence to warrant having a trial on the issues. And in fact, after the end of 2 days, it was decided that he will be standing trial. Next Tuesday, he will be appearing in what's called assignment court, which is at a bit of an administrative court, to determine, to see if they can pick a date for a trial on the matter. His lawyer indicated he'd like something early in 2014. The election is, of course, October the 27th, 2014. Given the backlogs in court, though, that might be a little bit of a challenge because given the backlogs, similar cases to this, at least in terms of criminal offenses and people looking for trials, dates are being set as late as September next year. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
So not outside the realm of possibility that it could indeed be a trial right on the eve of
Could be on the eve of election.
Because we know that Labor Day is when the campaign really starts.
That's right. That's right. And the other alternative is if he can't get a trial before the election, this thing is hanging over the mayor's head while he's campaigning, and I'm sure others will make some hay from that. So,
who are the others going to be, though? I mean, so far no one has really stepped forward.
Well, we're hearing some names of candidates, and in fact, if people out there are thinking of running for mayor, we would urge them to contact the election hotline.
Absolutely, yeah, okay. Absolutely, for sure. And you can just float that trial balloon, and we'll be happy to sort of a sources say kind of thing. Absolutely, but the the implications of that are just so fascinating to me. It's really, really interesting. I was at an event last night, and I'm getting one insane email today. This was a committee, the Town and Gown Committee, which, for the uninitiated, which would be most people, including myself, until about a year ago, I didn't know what it was. Town and Gown deals with issues involving Fanshawe and Western, and full-time citizens of the city. Town and Gown Committee held a meeting with the police, with citizens, with students. Anybody could come and speak their piece relating to student rowdyism, the police
garbage, all that stuff,
the police tactics that involved doorstep collection of personal information, which they've stopped doing after our colleague Jen O'Brien uncovered that very questionable tactic, and then of course students defending their rights to be students, right, and live their life and have fun, and who knows, maybe even stay in London when they graduate. I just wonder. I thought it was a really well run meeting. Matt Brown ran the thing. People were pretty respectful, right? A lot of frustration. The one guy said his street turns into student hell from September to April, and I really felt bad for the guy. But I wonder if the sort of headline here is nothing works. There is no solution to this. This is the nature of the beast. The nature of the beast. Would you agree with that?
The city benefits hugely from the presence of the university, its staff, and its students, and it's an economic boon to the municipality. The downside of that is the behavior of certain students at certain times, and it's always been thus. And I was a student at Western many years ago, so I think I demonstrate that not all students turn out bad. In fact, some of us turn out quite well. You went to another university, but
that's right,
which will remain nameless. However, no, there's always been issues over the years. I was a student 40-something years ago, and there were eruptions of misbehavior and that sort of thing. It's just part and parcel of this. We've had some very extreme situations, the St. Paddy's Day thing at Fanshawe, the Broughdale thing at Homecoming at Western this past fall. But
I think the root of it is that students are transient. They're here for a few years and then they're gone. So the ones who are here now feel like they're being unfairly targeted because of the St. Patrick's Day riot, which occurred before they'd even moved here. But they're saying to the police, "Don't crack down on us. Let's make your annual fall tour of the post-secondary school communities an education practice." Okay, so let's educate these students. 4 years later, they're gone, and then you got a whole new crew that you got to educate.
Yeah.
So the police are really stuck in a spot where. Is it really practical to be re-educating people? Every year you got a new crew of people you got to educate.
The problem is, what else can you do, though? Really, you can't just.
Well, that brings me back to my point that there is no solution.
Yeah.
I don't see what. It's an unfortunate friction, but I do think it's the nature of the beast among in cities that have the biggest college in the country and a really big, vibrant university that, let's face it, is sort of known for.
Party town.
Unlike the University of Waterloo, which is known for august academia.
Do you know anybody?
Revered graduates and alumni and
steroids on football teams.
That's right. Yeah.
Did you go to Waterloo by any chance?
Indeed I did.
Oh, did? Okay.
Indeed I did, along with about half of London City Council, I'll add. So anyway.
Like Dale Henderson, right?
Matt Brown, Paul Van Meerberg.
There you go.
I think Joni's got one of her sons is there. So anyway, thank you for watching and join us again. On behalf of Chip, we'll see you next time at lfpress.com.